So my name is Daljit. I'm from Delhi and I live in Auroville as well. On behalf of Auroville Film Festival, I welcome you for the Meet the Director conversation.
Thank you very much.
You have a very interesting background. You chose an unconventional path of learning.
Yeah.
You have traveled widely and are privileged to be exposed to various cultural early in life. How has this personal journey led to filmmaking?
It's actually the filmmaking came really differently. I used to travel as like that was part of my education. I don't know if it was choice so much. I was very young, I was 11 or 12, when I started studying with herpetologists. The filmmaking came a bit different. My mom used to take a lot of pictures. She was a photographer while we were growing up. So me and my sister used to take a lot of pictures of animals and stuff. So I actually started taking pictures of snakes. I think a lot is how I started. And the way I started making films is with underwater stuff, actually. I had this little GoPro. I had the first GoPro when I was 14 or 15. And we used to go dive and I would go film some whale sharks and mantas and stuff like that. That's how I started filming, I think, also. Yeah. My first fiction piece was also underwater. I never finished it. It was me and a friend in a very shallow swimming pool, like a 3-foot swimming pool, trying to see him swim. It's about him swimming in this swimming pool and he sees a girl through this light in the swimming pool and they communicate through this light in this other dimension. I never finished.
Wow. But yes, you're traveling, like you travel so extensively. It must have taught you a lot about people, culture.
I hope so.
You're not sure.
I mean, I still have a lot to learn, I guess.
Yes, of course. It's ongoing.
My perception also is changing a lot, I think, now that I've become more of an adult. I think it's changing a lot more. I think understanding other people's points of view is also.
Yeah. Where did the inspiration for Pre-Monsoon came from? Like
Barnaby Jones is actually a very old character of mine that I wrote when I was quite a bit younger. And I think it's from a book my sister used to read called Junie B. Jones, about this very naughty girl who gets into trouble or not doing her chores or something like that. I don't remember the book very well, but I remember the cover subconsciously. We just dug it up recently. And it made so much sense that it was from there. But she was an old character of mine. I think also influenced by my sister, maybe. Me and my sister were eating dinner the other day, and she was like, "Is it based on me?" And I hadn't thought about it before, and it might be a little bit based on her, I wonder. But the story, I think it was more from fun. I think the movies I made so far, the fiction pieces, have been more just to have a good time, I guess, with my friends, because it was mostly just us having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like work at any point.
Okay. So were there any obstacles during filming process and how did you overcome them?
Well, it's not finished, the film. It never got finished. It's not a finished piece, which is very embarrassing, but it's okay because I think everyone in the community recognized most of the actors and stuff. So
I was finding it very abstract film. So I put it in that genre.
Yeah, it's really incomplete because one, I was the only person behind the camera. Like I wrote it, I directed it, I filmed it, and all the other stuff. Like no one else was there to help me. So it's really messy, I think. Like the way I'm filming it, trying to direct it while trying to do the cinematography and stuff. Super messy. Also, it's built off of the first draft of a script. I only recently learned how to rewrite and refine something. And that was the first draft. I wrote in like a week or two and just very rough, and we just kind of took it from there. And yeah, so it's just not complete, I guess. I didn't know how to plan the entire process. I think the challenge is watching it again now and just seeing how many things I could have done differently. While filming it, it wasn't challenging, really. Sometimes my neighbor would like shout at us for filming in her space without asking her. That's kind of it. Everyone is really nice.
I can feel that everybody is enjoying the process. Your all cast is having a lot of fun.
We're all friends, yeah. So it was just we're all friends. So it was really fun, especially Ahilya and Bhavya, Barnaby and Kunal, the two characters. Yeah. They've known each other for quite a while. And they're good friends. So their interaction was really just fun. Like especially when we weren't shooting, honestly, it was so funny. The way that they would speak to each other and things. I wish I was filming them just hanging out because they're really funny together.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes would have been great.
So what's watching your own film like? are you able to separate yourself as the director and experience it as an audience member? And what does the film, though you said that it's not complete, but yet what does the film speak to you on a personal level?
Well, I enjoy watching them now. I think I have detached a little bit and I do enjoy watching them. I think it's also the memories attached to each sequence. Like I remember filming the different bits with them, which was quite fun. But it's nice. I think it still hurts me a little bit seeing what we could have done because this edit, the version that's done, we were going to premiere it at a friend's house. This is what we were working towards. I just broken up with someone and I was like, I just need to do something. So we're like, let's premiere it quickly. So we finished editing it at 5 p.m. and screened it at 6 p.m. So it was really rushed and it was finished like that. And then no one touched it after that. So that bothers me a little bit when I'm watching it. I just know that if it was cooked a little longer, it's just really undercooked also. Just letting it cook a little longer would have.
Yeah, it's a 1 hour, 58 minutes. And
it could have just been clipped a little bit, definitely.
Yeah,
also. It could have been trimmed a lot. It could have been tightened a lot. All these things could have been. All in all, it's fine. I mean, this was my kind of last student fit in a way. Because the first two films I did, the first one I didn't know anything really. The second one I knew very little. And this one I also didn't really understand filmmaking as a process. It was kind of my film school,
Yeah. So as you are speaking for your previous, so my next question will be related to that you have worked on a short documentary and 2 short features before pre-monsoon. Following on from this, you are now working on a script for a feature film. As you mentioned in your bio. Would you like to tell us more about this new feature film project? Would you like to share something?
Well, I don't know which documentary they're speaking about, but I worked on a few documentary bits, but the one I did myself was on a friend actually. That was one of the first films I did myself. There's a friend of mine here who does amazing work. Shout out to the Treehouse community, in case nobody knows about them. They do fantastic work. They make the most incredible houses high up in the trees and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I just wanted to do something and he gave me an opportunity to make a film with him. So we made a really nice short film together. I think that's the documentary you're speaking about. Otherwise, my sister's also a filmmaker and she's a documentary filmmaker. And she primarily films underwater. So she takes me for jobs. I don't always find work and she's the one who finds me work and pays me with all these things. I'm very lucky.
Great.
Yeah, but the feature is, this is my first real film, I think, that I'm working on right now, that I finally understood how to do this, I think a little better. And it's the challenging part is because I hadn't worked with people on this earlier, because I did everything myself really, initially. So that's a bit challenging right now, trying to meet people in the middle, I think. There's a very talented director of photography who I'm working with. And so far, it's just been me and him really working together. I have a 3-hour-long film written out as a script right now, which I'm trying to trim also again. And cut down.
So the first cut is 3 hours long.
Kind of. This is still just the 3rd or 4th draft of the script that we've reached so far. And well, the story is, it's kind of like an epic almost, you know. I should probably slow down in my storytelling. I think I'm jumping from something very basic to something very intricate very quickly. And that's okay. I'll try my best.
Yes. So as you said, you all enjoyed a lot making the pre-monsoon, but it would be great if you can walk me through the pre-production process and the shooting days, sharing any budget-related filmmaking advice you would like to share.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is great because it's a 0 budget film. There's no budget for it. We spent basically no money doing it at all. Someone helped me. There's a man named Gopi. Shout out to Gopi also. Gopi helped me a little bit with the equipment because I would be holding the gimbal and the camera at the back. And he would help me on the bike drive around because calibrating the gimbal is hard on set. So I would calibrate it. There was no pre-production. I would be setting up the sets before we would shoot and stuff. We would rush.
Oh, it's like very courageous.
It's
Like
just
there was no pre-production.
nothing. It was completely spontaneous. There's no lighting also. Everything is
Yeah,
shot
it's
in
a
the
natural,
natural.
yeah.
Yeah, that you can tell. But yeah, no pre-production, no planning, no script revisal. It was what you're watching is a very raw piece of
Yes.
work, like a very, very piece of work. But
So
it's
you're okay with showing that unfinished film in Auroville Film
there's
Festival?
okay or not, but it's being shown. Whether I'm okay with it or not, I don't know. I don't know how okay with it I am, but it's being shown. What really ties it together is the actors, like Hai, Sindali, and Luca, and Bhavyo, and Ahilya. All five of them are so good.
Hmm.
They're really, really good, you know.
Hmm.
And they brought so much life to these characters. They played them beautifully. They really played them very well.
Yeah.
So that's the most special part of it, I think, is how well they played these characters. Is
Hmm.
really, really amazing. I think that's what makes it work. Anything about it that works is because of them. I think they really brought a beautiful energy to it. And yeah, I think that's the only thing that makes me feel kind of comfortable about people watching this is how brilliantly they played these characters, I think. And I'm just really lucky to have really talented friends. Actually, a bunch of my friends are really talented and they're willing to help me on this next project and stuff. I'm just very, very grateful. And I'm very lucky to have these talented people around me. So
That's great.
it's also just good fun, you know. I think the community is going to come watch the film mostly.
Yes.
They're going to recognize the people.
Yeah.
Actually, I can tell you one thing. It was so random that when you see the scenes of David and Nico, these people on the cycles and stuff, we just went out on the streets and we were filming. We would just stop people on the road and say, "Hey, can you do this really quickly?" And they would do it. That's how impromptu the whole thing was.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Like, you know, like you're venturing out in dealing with people and while shooting, and it's great. Jonak, as someone who liked exploring the cultures and travel to connect with people, pandemic must have impacted you both, like personally as well as creative filmmaker.
Well, so the funny thing is, because I spent most of my time as a teenager traveling around and stuff, I became quite a homebody as I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm very happy also just sitting. I really love spending time alone. So I'm very happy with my own space, with my books and my music. I honestly didn't, I'm very introverted also, so I didn't get affected at all. I think I had a great time.
Okay, so lockdown, I was thinking you travel so much and you know you like interacting with people if you are traveling, that your bio says. So I was very curious to know how you were able to channelize your creativity during that during the time of a lockdown. And but you said that you were very happy, like being with yourself and
I was,
reading and explore.
I was still going out and stuff. I would still go out and do things that I needed to. I just want to meet people. I'm very happy by myself, I think, that way. I think it's also because I spent so much time in isolation growing up. There were times when I was 17 maybe in the Tibetan plateau and I wouldn't see people for days, you know. I used to walk valleys alone. And I think I really learned what isolation is, because there's isolating yourself in a social situation, and then there's isolating yourself without that choice. And you're completely, I don't know, almost abandoned or something. If I wanted to find people, I couldn't, you know.
Yeah.
And that I think changed my perception again on spending time with people and things. I still love spending time alone, but I don't like being alone like that anymore. I used to, and I think I was searching for something in that loneliness or in that solitude. But I'm so happy to be with my family and stuff.
Any advice you wish someone had given you when you started shifting from making movies as a hobby to choosing filmmaking as a career? I hope you are looking at it as a career.
I definitely am looking at it as a source of revenue. I don't know about career like that. I think our generation is also a little different in that we don't necessarily look at it as a career as one profession that drives you. I think we're mostly multifaceted. And for me also, I wouldn't call myself a filmmaker per se. I do make movies. I'm just learning to make movies.
Okay.
I think, I don't know, I love learning. I think that's my strong suit in life. I'm able to apply information pretty well, I think. So I love just absorbing new information, and learning about something new is probably my favorite thing to do.
So as you have not gone through a formal education of filmmaking, so but when you were making, you were facing some challenges, or you are happy to learning by doing and by making mistakes? What is your
So someone
preferable way?
So like I said, initially I used to film animals a lot growing up. So I think that was my learning really. I used to take pictures of a lot of animals, and I used to film while going on dives and stuff, whatever big animals I would see, I would kind of film. I actually used to take a lot of pictures of people underwater. I think I was one of the few people there'd be animals and stuff. I'd like slyly take a picture of someone looking at the animal and get their expression like that. Someone helped me. My first bit of fiction, which is called Larson, my sister's partner, who's also an underwater filmmaker, he's the one who kind of taught me how to do this, over the shoulder, the design of it all, how you need to get that wide and that mid shot and then get your over the shoulders. And kind of showed me the construction of it. I didn't look any of this up online stuff. I watched him kind of do it in front of me, and then I picked it up from him. Arnav is his name. Arnav is the one who taught me. He's the one who taught me the conceptualizing of it, not it's the construction of it, kind of how to really put it together and stuff. He's the one who showed me. And they showed me how to edit it. I didn't edit my second and third work. The first project I worked on, I did the edit, and it was hellish. I didn't enjoy it at all. It was very
so what is your your inclination towards more feature films or documentary? You want to
I find documentary filmmaking to be more raw. It's more challenging in its own way, because you have to kind of be objective. If you go to a space where people are suffering to tell a story, you can't always intervene, because you're trying to tell a story cleanly, right? You can't go and start helping someone, and then it's tricky. I don't know. Documentary filmmaking is definitely educational. It's probably more important, I think. For me, I really challenge myself sometimes, thinking if I'm doing the right thing, because media is not the healthiest thing, right? Also, funny thing for anyone watching this, me and her are sitting in the same office. Nobody knows this. This is the future. We're having an interview in two different rooms in the same space.
Yes.
Hilarious. What was I saying?
Yeah, you were talking about the documentary filmmaking. It's more realistic and more objective.
Definitely, and I think it's more positive in the sense that it's teaching you something when you're watching. It's hard for me to watch. I don't watch a lot of documentaries because I find it difficult to watch the reality, the ground reality of a lot of things. The reason I moved to fiction is also to maybe try and work with certain things without being too influenced, because it's easy to get depressed, when you're working on the ground with, especially with ecosystems and social issues and things. There's so much happening that it affects you a lot. Honestly, the bravest humans on the planet are the activists and researchers on the ground actually making a change. You never hear about them. They don't get paid very much, but they're still so dedicated to actually doing things. That's what I wanted to do. Those are the people that I really admire a lot. But I know, at least right now, I'm getting stronger as a person in myself. But in these stages, or at least in the past, I wasn't able to see that much suffering. It affected me a lot. When we grew up, actually, me, my mom and my sister used to help a lot of animals initially. And it was really disturbing, the way people would treat them, the way they would maul them, kind of, they would be mangled and really injured. And it wasn't easy for me to see. I think it scarred me a lot. So I took a few steps back. Lately, I've been working a lot on myself and my own mental health to make it more stable, so that I can then not get too influenced, I guess. Actually work on these things. The fiction bit comes with trying to still study these things and generate revenue off it while trying to do something positive. I guess it's also a lot of fun. I think the reason why I've been drawn to fiction is because of how much fun it is. It's beautiful to tell a story and just, I don't know, be surrounded by people that you enjoy working with. And I love working with music. Music is a huge part of who I am.
So you on soundtrack, you work on your own when you are
like I said, there's no one else. It's just me. My dad and my sister help me with the edit, and Arnav, three of them. But everything else is just me.
Great, 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 great. That digital technology has given us this opportunity. Like it can be a one-man show, a filmmaking can be if you have.
Funnily, it's very true, but funnily enough, I'm not a very tech savvy human, as I feel like I should be, but I'm not. My generation kind of is, but I don't know if it's such technological hands. I guess if I was working with actual film, I couldn't do it myself. It's not possible. You're one person actually reeling the film, one person pulling focus.
Yes, yes, and sound is very tough. Sound is also very tough, but on
Well,
digital, we
yeah.
just, yeah, yeah.
But if you've seen this film, the sound is horrible. The sound is done so badly because
Yeah.
it's all of it's done with the shotgun mic on top. The whole film is done with one camera, one lens. The whole thing is on a 50 mm and this one shotgun mic. That's why the sound is so terrible and why the focus is not always right and things like that. Yeah, we wanted to dub it. There was a plan to dub the film, at least moments where the audio is really terrible, but it never happened. So maybe one day.
Oh, next film that you are writing.
This film, though, that we're working on now, there's already a team actually. We've already made animatronics. There's a lot happening around. It's very intimidating actually. Speaking about it right
Great,
now.
great, great.
Yeah.
Great, Jonak. So we wish you very best for your
Thank
future
you.
film
Thank you very much.
and look forward to watch it.
Yeah,
Maybe in
thanks.
the
Thanks for having me.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your time. It was really pleasure to interacting with you.